Singapore is a port city at the mouth of the Malacca Strait. British colonizers, Chinese laborers, Tamil Indian workers, indigenous Malay communities, all compressed into one city, eating side by side at the same hawker stalls. Different hands, different traditions, the same heat. These are 10 foods born here. Singapore Sling. Singapore Sling was created by Nyam Tong Boon, a Hainanese bartender working the Long Bar at Raffles Hotel in the early 1900s. The drink was designed so women could consume alcohol in public without it appearing obvious. The glass resembled juice. The base is gin, built around cherry liqueur, Benedictine, Cointreau, Dom, Grenadine, pineapple juice, lime juice, and Angostura bitters. Pineapple juice became the dominant flavor carrier, giving the drink its tropical profile, while the Benedictine added an herbal depth that separated it from anything else being served at the Colonial Bar. Raffles Hotel still serves it today from the same Long Bar where it was first made. Chili crab. Chili crab was created by Sher Yam Tian in 1956, cooking from a pushcart, when she replaced a standard sambal preparation with a tomato chili sauce. The sauce is built from a tomato and chili base with belacan underneath, finished with egg whites folded in at the end to create ribbons through the sauce. The crab is typically cracked before cooking, so the sauce penetrates the shell and reaches the meat directly during the braise, rather than sitting on the surface. The crab used is typically the Sri Lankan mud crab, chosen for its size and the density of its meat. Mantou, deep-fried Chinese buns, are served alongside specifically to absorb the sauce from the shell. Black pepper crab. Black pepper crab was popularized by Long Beach Seafood in Singapore in the 1980s as a dry preparation built on the same Sri Lankan mud crab used in chili crab. Where chili crab is sauced, black pepper crab is dry. Whole black peppercorns are cracked and toasted before being worked into a butter and soy base that coats the shell directly during cooking. The heat from the pepper builds through the butter into the meat rather than arriving through a sauce. The crab is wok fried at extremely high heat, which chars the pepper crust against the shell while the butter carries the flavor through the cracks. Mantou is served alongside but plays a different role. There is no sauce to absorb, so the bread cuts the intensity of the pepper instead. There's still a whole world out there we haven't explored yet. So if you want to see where we go next, make sure you subscribe, and tell me in the comments where we should travel next. Fish head curry. Fish head curry was created in Singapore in the 1950s by M.J. Gomez, a Caroline Indian chef who built the dish specifically to appeal to Chinese customers who prize the fish head as a delicacy. The head of a red snapper or grouper is submerged in a tamarind-based curry built from a South Indian spice foundation, mustard seeds, curry leaves, fenugreek, and a rempa paste of chili, shallot, and ginger fried down before the liquid enters the pan. Okra, eggplant, and tomato are added to the curry alongside the head and cooked until the vegetables have absorbed the tamarind depth of the broth. The cheek meat and collar of the fish are considered the most prized portions, dense, gelatinous, and the last parts to be taken from the plate. Today, it is eaten across Singapore, Malaysia, and parts of India, though the dish was made in none of those places before Gomez built it here. Hainanese chicken rice. Hainanese chicken rice was developed in Singapore by Hainanese migrants who adapted a dish from Wenchang, Hainan province, into something the region of origin has never produced. The chicken is poached whole in a master stock of ginger pandan and scallion at a temperature kept deliberately below boiling. The slow cook holds the meat at the exact edge of cooked, leaving the flesh tender and the skin gelatinous. The poaching stock is then used to cook the rice with chicken fat and garlic, which absorbs the broth completely during cooking. 3 sauces are served alongside: a fresh ginger and oil paste, a dark sweet soy, and a chili sauce built from the poaching liquid. The chicken is served at room temperature, never hot, which is considered essential to the texture of both the skin and the meat. Kaya toast. Kaya toast is a breakfast built around kaya, a coconut jam made from coconut milk, eggs, sugar, and pandan leaf slow cooked over a double boiler and stirred continuously until it sets into a thick, fragrant spread. The pandan gives it a green tint and a grassy floral flavor that has no direct equivalent in any other cuisine. The jam is spread onto bread that has been toasted over charcoal rather than an electric toaster. A cold slab of butter is placed inside the toast directly after it comes off the charcoal, the temperature contrast between the warm bread and the cold butter being a deliberate part of the preparation. Soft boiled eggs cooked to a loose, barely set yolk are served alongside, cracked into a small dish and seasoned with dark soy sauce and white pepper. Hainanese curry rice. Hainanese curry rice is a hawker plate built by Hainanese cooks in Singapore who had spent decades working inside British colonial households, absorbing two food systems simultaneously. The plate is assembled from steamed white rice, a pork chop in a sauce that sits somewhere between a Chinese braise and a British gravy, braised cabbage cooked until soft and saturated with pork fat, and a thick curry poured over the entire plate before it reaches the table. The pork chop is battered and fried before being finished in the braising sauce, producing a crust that softens under the curry without disappearing entirely. Bak kut te. Bak kut te is a broth built from pork ribs simmered for hours in white pepper, garlic, and soy until the liquid becomes deeply savory and the meat pulls cleanly from the bone. The name means meat bone tea. There is no tea in it. Hokkien and Teochew, Chinese laborers working Singapore's docks in the early 20th century, built it from the cheapest cuts of pork the market had left. Youtiao, fried dough sticks, are served alongside for dipping. Singapore's version stays clear and white pepper dominant, while the Malaysian version, made in Klang, uses a darker broth, heavy with dried herbs and spices. Braised peanuts, preserved vegetables, and tofu puffs are added to the pot in most hawker versions today. Laksa. Laksa is a coconut curry broth built from a rempa paste of dried shrimp, candlenut, galangal, lemongrass, and laksa leaf, fried in oil until fragrant before coconut milk is added and the broth is brought to a simmer. Bee hoon, thin rice vermicelli, is cut short enough to eat with a spoon alone, which is specific to the Katong version developed in Singapore's Peranakan community. Cockles, fish cake, and tofu puffs go into the bowl, finished with a dollop of sambal belacan on the surface. The Peranakan culture that produced it drew from both parent food systems without replicating either. Chinese cooking contributed the noodle format. Malay cooking contributed the coconut and spice base. The laksa leaf, known also as Vietnamese coriander, provides a flavor that exists in no other major soup tradition and is considered non-negotiable in the Katong version. Hokkien mee. Hokkien mee is thick yellow egg noodles and thin rice vermicelli, stir-fried together in a prawn and pork bone broth that reduces into the noodles during cooking, rather than being served as a soup. Prawns, squid, pork belly, and egg go into the wok, with the broth added in stages until the noodles absorb it completely. Served with sambal belacan and a squeeze of lime. It was created after World War II by Hokkien Chinese sailors from Fujian province who gathered along Rochor Road after factory shifts and fried excess noodles over charcoal stoves. The preparation that exists in Singapore today shares nothing with the dishes called Hokkien mee in Kuala Lumpur or Penang. Singapore is a city of 4 million people that has produced a food culture studied, replicated, and argued over across the world. It did not come from a royal kitchen or a culinary tradition passed down through centuries. It came from pushcarts, dock workers, and colonial households, and what they built has never been replicated anywhere else.